Of all the speaking training out there, Vin's is the best. But there's a lot in his program. What one skill should you start working on to see the biggest difference and start feeling confident? The one way to find out right now is to evaluate your speaking skills yourself. But what skills to look for? And how do you know how you rank on each of them? Let me show you how. There are 6 fundamental skills. Starting with the easiest to learn, the first one is pacing. How much you vary your speed when you speak. The range possible is far wider than you think. A 1 out of 10 example sounds like this. Pacing changes add a lot of variety to your speaking, and that grabs a lot of attention. A 10 out of 10 example sounds like this. Pacing changes add a lot of variety to your speaking, and that grabs a lot of attention. Each skill is about having a wide range. When you're comfortable using your whole range, you'll use the right amounts naturally every time. Where does your pacing fit in that range? Record yourself speaking without a script for 5 minutes and look and see where you fall between the 2 previous examples. Number 2 is pauses. Easy to practice, but hard to perform. They draw a lot of attention. 1 out of 10, how are your pauses? Here's a 1. Pauses are challenging but powerful because they magnify the emotion before it. And a 10. Pauses are challenging but powerful because they magnify the emotion before it. This is why they're so hard to do. When you're performing, you're nervous. When you pause, it amplifies that feeling. But your audience, the feeling your message gave them gets amped up. You'll notice that for each of the fundamentals, fear of feeling uncomfortable is why people get stuck at a 2 out of 10. Number 3 is melody, the change of pitch in your voice. You already know to avoid the dreaded monotone, but we underestimate just how powerful the opposite is. Here's a 1. Practicing melody is a bit scarier, but gets way easier after practicing some of the other fundamentals. Here's a 10. Practicing melody is a bit scarier, but gets way easier after practicing some of the other fundamentals. Melody is one of the fundamentals where even getting to a 5 dramatically increases how much attention people will give you. The one fear that holds people back from achieving all that, though, is a fear of going too far and looking ridiculous. The best way I found to get rid of that fear is to get confirmation from a trained coach.
Then the best place to get this is to get it from an expert. No one wants to be mean, no one wants to tell you the truth. So instead of putting all that pressure on people, look for a communication expert, a communication teacher, a communication coach. And that is how you actually can improve your communication skills.
If you'd like that, reach out and I'll analyze your 6 fundamentals, confirm which one you should be focusing on right now. I'll also give you some advice on how to improve it. And for a while, I'm doing this totally free, no charge. My contact info is down in the description. Get in touch. The most important thing still remains getting you started today. So number 4 is volume. Obviously, being loud gets attention. But when you're quiet, people lean in to hear more. Here's a 1. Getting loud is the hardest part to become comfortable with, but it makes the quiet parts so much more powerful. Here's a 10. Getting loud is the hardest part to get comfortable with, but it makes the quiet parts so much more powerful. With volume especially, you'll notice when you stretch your range, your other fundamentals will come along for the ride. This is how working on one skill starts making it easier to tackle the more uncomfortable ones. No matter where you're starting at, you can master all of them. Number 5 is tone, also known as emotion. We are hardwired to pay a lot of attention to changes in emotion. Here's a 1. When I first started speaking with emotion, I felt so uncomfortable, but after I got it, it felt exciting and became fun. Here's a 10. When I first started speaking with emotion, I felt so uncomfortable. But after I got it, it felt exciting and it became fun. Emotions change your speech from reporting an event to recreating it. It effectively creates B-roll that comes with you everywhere you go. The last one, number 6, is word variety. I know you've heard about filler words a million times already. I thought that's all there was to it, but word variety goes way beyond that. In fact, as I said in another video, the biggest leap I had in the way I sound came from fixing my hesitation words. This isn't one of Vin's fundamentals, but it makes such a big difference that I consider it one. Here's an example of a 1 out of 10. You know, word choice is absolutely kind of the most comfortable skill to practice. But it absolutely, makes a massive difference. Man, that's as painful to do as it is to listen to. Here's a 10. Word choice is certainly the most comfortable skill to practice, but it truly makes a massive difference. Beyond filler words, you have hesitation words, dynamic vocabulary, customizing your vocabulary to your audience, and a lot more. The good news is working on your pause skill will automatically improve your filler words. But in order to get the other types of word variety, you have to actively study this skill. Advancing just these 6 basic skills to a high level is enough to become the best speaker that most people know, without studying anything else. With that, you know everything you need to find your most important skill for you to focus on learning right now. Naturally, next you're going to want to find the fastest way to improve it. So pick that skill from the list of drills to find out how to improve it fast, permanently, and make it effortless.